The Square Mile, the City of London. It's an extraordinary institution. Everything is so concentrated here. It's just amazing. I love it. Wow. From drool-worthy quantities of cash in the Bank of England vaults. Oh, my. Is that what I think it is?
Is that Doris?
To sharing an honour with the lovely Doris.
You can always buy a life supply of lavatory paper.
I like it.
To prisoners' cries in the dead man's walk at the Old Bailey.
That's the cells being discharged.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah, we're processing prisoners now.
And bewildering ceremonies. I'm going to delve into the secrets of the city. Well, I was offered some months ago the freedom of the City of London, and I had no idea what that meant. I don't really know what the City of London is. Part of me knows it's a square mile filled with banks, and banks are, well, they're the enemies of society at the moment, it seems. But I also know that it's much older than that. It goes back to Dick Whittington in the 12th century. It's the corporation of the City of London. It's liveries and guilds and mansion houses and guild halls. And I've no idea what the freedom means. They say it means I can drive goats over Tower Bridge. I'm sure that's nonsense. But the whole thing set me out on a course of thinking, if I'm going to accept this honour, I want to penetrate the City of London. It's one of those very British things. It's like a little corner of the world that's completely hidden. It's both ancient and modern, and it's very exciting. And here I am outside the Guildhall, which is one of the great buildings, and I dare say Richard Whittington himself walked into it. Hello? Where am I supposed to be going?
You're going this way, so I'll take you up there.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Already I can see people in funny costumes. That's what I was hoping for.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding to receive your distinguished guests?
I wonder what I'll be given. A key, a PIN number, or maybe a swipe card.
Stephen Fry, would you please approach? This is the Declaration of the Freeman. I'd like you to read it aloud, beginning with your name.
I, Stephen Fry, do solemnly declare that I will be good and true to Our Lady Sovereign Queen Elizabeth II, that I will be obedient to the Mayor of this city.
Now, on behalf of the Chamberlain of this great and ancient City of London, it is a particular pleasure tonight for me to extend the right hand of fellowship to you and to greet you all as citizens of London.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm free. Free. I live only a couple of miles away in the West End of London, but the city seems like a foreign country. I intend to use my new freedom as a passport to explore its hidden mysteries. Tracing the outlines of the original Roman settlement, the city is a small local authority that has vastly more wealth and power than any other borough in the UK, yet is a mere square mile. The reason London was founded as a trading port is this river, with ships from all over the world coming to do business. I'm hoping to get my hands on the levers of power at Tower Bridge, that symbol of London that allowed trading ships into the heart of the city.
Oh my goodness. Look at it, there it is. It's a sight that not everybody sees, even Londoners.
Tower Bridge was built in 1886, and Eric Southerns has the splendid title of Bridge Master.
It's so funny to see the white lines of the road at that angle.
There's the warship coming through now.
Oh, terrific. They're flying a Union Jack.
I've got a statutory duty to open the bridge to any vessel that gives me the required 24 hours notice.
It's like an Escher print, all these staircases in different directions.
I ask Eric if I can see how this masterpiece of Victorian engineering actually works.
That's known as the Bascule Chamber.
This is the Bascule. Oh my God! Oh my goodness! It's like it's a theatre. You could have rows of people on stage, except presumably when it rises.
You're actually under the road, under the South Bascule. When we do a bridge lift, that whole lot travels down and we'll go up.
So if we stood here, we'd be killed.
Not killed. You'll have time to get out.
We'll have to duck. Yes. And if it was a full one, would I be safe against that wall?
A full lift, you would be safe against the wall, but it would touch you before it stopped. So it would be rubbing up against your shoulders before it stopped. Tugs Tower Bridge. Christine, we're about to start your bridge lift now.
Originally operated by complicated mechanics, it's now all controlled by one man. And today, Eric allows that one man to be me.
Stand by, bridge staff. Stopping road traffic.
This noise is normal, yes?
That's normal.
Good.
That's attached. Now we're now waiting for the traffic to clear of the bridge. Now press those two. Now you can press the pedestrian gates.
This is just unbelievable.
Look around, just make sure everything's safe and there's nobody on the bridge.
And it does...
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Halfway back to creep speed, just gently. Watch the bridge, watch the centre of the bridge and you'll see it moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
my heavens.
Now all the way back.
Oh, my goodness. I'm raising the bridge.
Just watch your guide till it gets to 40.
9 degrees, 10 degrees, 10.12, 13. This is a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. Oh, my goodness me. 25.
Gently back into the centre position now.
There we are.
Now you can let that go.
So we're all the buttons that are pressed need to be pressed. The river lights. And here comes one. The Svitzer Cecilia, a Swiss boat, I guess, is it? Out of Grimsby, so that's not very Swiss.
Trade is what the city has always been about, whether on the river or in its many markets. And just a few minutes north of Tower Bridge, I'm given the rare privilege of a seat within something called the Ring. The cliché image of the greedy 80s is of men in bright-coloured blazers shouting. All but one of those markets has gone to computerised heaven. Now, just the one, the London Metal Exchange, remains a live, throbbing market, and I have to say it's one of the most dramatic spectacles I've ever encountered. Apparently, the guys sitting with me in the ring are dealers, buying and selling metal futures, say 1,000 tons of zinc in 3 months' time. The ones standing just outside are giving them instructions, which they're getting from their colleagues in the outer ring who are on the phones to the clients, who might be, say, Peugeot cars wanting to buy aluminium for next year's production line. I'm told that over 80% of the world's industrial metal prices are set in this ring, and the urgency is because everyone waits to buy or sell till seconds before the market closes.
Tim, you were like, everybody's standing with the faces, the veins bulging out on your forehead. You were absolutely transformed, an animal.
I've lost my voice now.
I can hear that. So did you make money on that? You don't know yet?
Find out at the end of the day.
Well, you now have to do the computation.
Now we have to work it all out.
Were you selling or buying?
I was selling and lending and borrowing. I was doing everything.
Absolutely incomprehensible to me. But as theatre, it's one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Whether you're trading metal futures or ready cash, the city is the throbbing heart of world finance, and at its centre, the Bank of England. On the ground floor, there may be marbled halls, but in the basement, the emphasis is not on show, but security.
Oh, my. Is that what I think it is? Good Lord. £20. Huge! Oh, my God. Of course, you do realise you're quite mad, Goldfinger.
I'm waiting to meet the chief cashier, Chris Salmon. This is like a wholesale warehouse, ready to supply the retailers, in this case the high street banks, when necessary. And this is just one of the rooms full of cash. There's apparently over £20 billion in these vaults.
Can't help thinking of Liza Minnelli and Joel Grey. Money! A mark, a yen, a buck, or a pound. It's all that makes the world go round. And look at it, it's all here. You think of the Bank of England, you think of a noble edifice with columns in front of it, and the old lady of Threadneedle Street, and yet here's all this raw cash. They say in movies, the directors, that audiences always follow the money. So even if it's someone in a cafe pushing a £20 or $20 bill across to someone else, the human eye always follows it. We're obsessed with it. It's kind of, our breath comes in short gasps when we see so much of it around us. I don't know, there's something about sheer physical presence of money that brings out something very puzzling and dark within us.
Well, in each cage, there's about £4 million, and in the room as a whole, it's about £2 billion of new banknotes which haven't yet been issued.
And ones that you as chief cashier have signed, and not individually, obviously.
Not just the one signature, which has been repeated a few times. Modern technology, yes.
That must be a marvellous feeling to think that your name is on every one of these. Is that it there?
Yes, just
So you sat down with a piece of paper and you did a few versions of your signature, and...
It was as unsophisticated as that. You're given an A4 sheet with 3 boxes. You can do 3 attempts, and then you tick your best one. Or in my case, you print off a second sheet.
Until you really felt you got it
Print
right.
your best one on the second sheet. And then it goes off to be photocopied, I guess, and there it is.
And when you go to a cash machine and out comes this, and you look at it and you see your name there, do you get a little bit of a thrill?
There's an element of that,
Yeah.
yes. It would be untrue to pretend otherwise. But, I mean, there is a more serious point. The reason why we have the signature of Chief Cashier on the note is to underscore the importance we place in the institution on the fact people can trust their bank's notes, and that's why we have the signature there.
It's a very elaborate IOU, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a promissory note. There'll be a lot of people watching this thinking, well, the weakest point, the point where we can move in, is when you're transporting it. Somebody orders a few of these crates. Somehow you've got to get them into a van, onto the street, without anybody following you, causing you to crash against a wall, coming out and doing all that Sweeney stuff. And presumably you can't tell me anything about how you do that.
We move to cash safely.
That's very well put.
Try and miss the top if you could, please.
I'll do my best.
We're so close to the gherkin, I can almost smell the dill and vinegar. In the City of London, the square mile that is the financial district, thrusting new towers jostle with the most ancient of strange rituals. And I feel a bit like an anthropologist landing in a foreign country when, outside the Guildhall, I come across a group of those ceremonial symbols of the City of London Corporation, beadles.
Yeah, and you?
Candlewick.
Candlewick, wow.
Farringdon within.
Farringdon, excellent. Farringdon within.
Not without.
Within and without? Oh, this is like Punching Judy. You've got Farringdon within and Farringdon without. So, and then more Beatles. I've never seen so many Beatles in my life. How wonderful to see you. I must say there's an almost Dickensian, Pickwickian sense of good English roast beef, and you all look sort of well-fed.
We've done a load of that just now.
Oh, that'll be why.
There's a request from the mayor, sir.
Yes.
Will you get your hair cut?
You're quite right. I'm very sorry. I'm a shambles. That's me told. Dear me.
The beadles tell me they are here for something called the silent ceremony.
I don't quite know what they mean by a silent ceremony, whether literally we go inside the Guildhall and not a word is spoken. I believe it is a solemn occasion, and the whole thing is a mystery that's about to be unravelled. Hello.
This will be the inauguration of the new Lord Mayor. That is, the head of the City of London Corporation. That's not Boris Johnson's job. This one is chosen from among the aldermen of the city. And this exact ceremony has apparently been held every year since around the time Dick Whittington became Lord Mayor over 600 years ago. Unlike any of the 32 boroughs in London, the City of London Corporation is elected by both residents and business votes and has unique powers, even its own police force. Nice hats. It's an extraordinary, mysterious 35 minutes of silent ceremony, with the only words spoken those of the new Lord Mayor's oath.
I, David Hugh Wootton, do solemnly, sincerely and truly declare that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Lord Mayor of the City of London.
The rest, stumm. It's all done by symbols. And this is the moment when power passes. You put on a funny hat, the job's yours. This year's man in the hat is a city solicitor.
How do you do? Congratulations, Lord Mayor.
Thank you very much.
It's really wonderful. I was thinking one of the conditions of being able to be a Lord Mayor, congratulations, is to be able to wear that hat without looking ridiculous. And you pull it off. There's genuine dignity in it. It's a wonderful ceremony. Is it? Oh my goodness! You've been holding that all afternoon. I'm doing the flicking, yes.
And one final hidden ritual involving a hat, the passing of the key to power.
1 year ago, you asked me to keep the key to the City and Christ's Hospital seal under my hat. I have done so. I now return to you that key.
Pallbearer, please keep this key under your hat.
My Lord Mayor, I will do so.
That's it?
That's it. I have to say, it's a slightly disappointing key. It looks like a student's room key.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
The Lord Mayor is in office for just a year. The job is unpaid, and the mayor and his family traditionally move into the flat at the top of the mansion house. It's about as grand a shot to live above as you can get. A few months since his inauguration, on a day of special ceremonial, a visit from the Queen no less, I've been invited into the inner sanctum by the Lady Mayoress.
The front door says Lady Mayoress Private.
Yes.
See,
Oh, my goodness. Double.
this is our bedroom.
That's a bit grand. Is this what you're wearing today?
That is what I'm... Yes.
Oh, very. You would look the belle of the ball.
Well, I don't know about... and a
that's-
choice of different handbags and, you know,
Yep.
going to try them.
Accessorising is all.
Exactly.
But of course, what I really want to see is the closet.
This is David's dressing room,
Good Lord.
which was called the South Gallery at one point. So, it's extraordinary.
What shall I wear today? So he has this,
All hung out.
these beautiful lace.
Yes, it is velvets.
And is
I
that what
think
he's
I
wearing
could-
today?
That's what he's wearing today.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
And
It is
this
velvet.
was the door into the Egyptian hall, and now it's full of,
Oh, perfect.
apart from a million ties.
He's one of the few husbands who's got more frocks than you have with his wife.
Yes. You haven't seen his underpants, but
Oh,
yeah,
his
this is all
breeches.
good. Breeches and tights and...
And that's the
the
mayoral
special one,
chain. Lord Leader or Director.
Yeah. Then
look.
out of here, this is the back door.
Right, proper green baize door.
Have a look at the breakfast going on downstairs.
Oh, we can get a view of
You
it.
can get a view of the breakfast.
Goodness me. Wow. The men and women here are...
All the
right,
ones in blue,
yes.
in their blue gowns, are Common Council.
So these are the people who essentially run the corporation of the City of London.
The aldermen and common councilmen are breakfasting on the day the Queen is due to visit the city. But is the Lord Mayor dressed yet? Back into the closet.
These are 70 denier tights.
Very sheer. Do you mind if I finger your ermine? No, please. I've never actually done this. I've never understood why
And
ermine...
the velvet is even nicer.
It's so beautiful. And the rosettes on the shoulder. I wonder, because I saw them by the mirror, and I wonder where they go. Good luck, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you. Precision timing now. Oh, and they're off. Oh, look, it's LMO, limo. Oh, Lord Mayor's office. And they're off to St Paul's Cathedral to meet the Queen.
In fact, the Lord Mayor isn't just off to meet the Queen. As a result of strife and altercation under King John 900 years ago, the city, which financed the King's army, gained in return the right to govern themselves with vast powers given to the mayor. But still, the monarch's overlordship should be acknowledged when she visits the city, and it is the Lord Mayor's job, along with that ceremonial sword, to do just that. The City of London Corporation is a powerful, self-financing fiefdom. The Lord Mayor at its head is also nominally the Chief Magistrate. The Old Bailey, a stone's throw away, is where he would sit. In fact, the Lord Mayor's judicial powers are not used, but the corporation own and run the place.
It's so impressive, so awe-inspiring.
Truth, learning, art, labour. Very wonderful.
And then, of course, you got the city's crest at the top.
Yes.
The man who has all the keys here is Charles Henty, the Under-Sheriff, an officer of the City of London Corporation.
This, though, is probably the grimmest.
Underneath the present-day courts, there used to be the infamous Newgate Prison.
Where your last night may well be spent here at the Bailey, although we stopped executing publicly in 1868 and 1902 from inside, and then we stopped. The condemned man or persons would be in here, last rites given, and then usually they would be then taken out this way.
Having chosen their own meal?
I don't think we went that far.
No.
It's nice for the films, but...
Incarcerated here was everyone from Dick Turpin to Casanova. Now it's the 50 people on trial today.
What is this?
This is what we call Dead Man's Walk. Now, what was here...
Dead Man's
Dead
Walk?
Man's Walk, because you're only going to go one way. As you came down, as I said, doors each way, So one
But
door will
lower
open.
and narrower each time.
Narrower and narrower.
It's
But-
very Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
The cries of London. My goodness.
That's the cells being discharged.
Oh, really?
Back, yeah, we're processing prisoners now.
It gets tiny.
You're only going to go one way, and
Right.
each time the door got smaller and smaller and smaller. So, you know, mentally, it's focusing you in a very nasty way.
God, how absolutely
And you came
gruesome.
on and on and on, and you were gone to the end, turned right, and then find yourself outside,
Barely fit.
in front of all the public.
And,
Executed.
and you said that in 1868, which was the last public hanging,
Yeah.
20,000 people went by tube.
By tube.
That sort of mixes the two ages quite extraordinarily.
quite scary.
The age of the London Underground and the age of public hangings don't mix in one's mind
Well,
naturally.
it was an entertainment for some people.
But above us now, presumably there's a judge banging a gavel and hopefully dispensing justice of a rather more merciful nature.
Well, keep your voice down a little bit, because those are cells. Yeah, it's got cells on this floor, slightly further down, on that floor, and the floor bar. They're gradually being moved out now. Check the time. Going down even further into the Bailey.
My goodness.
Oh, don't worry.
It's deep.
It is certainly very deep down here.
The Under-Sheriff now has a further secret to reveal in the bowels of the Bailey.
Now, I want you to go over that side
Right.
and watch your toes, because using that key, what I'm going to do is to bring it to your left.
Right.
Okay, nice. Okay, do that.
Up there.
Up onto the wood. And now you can hear something.
Oh my goodness. There's a ladder.
Down at the bottom there is One Times River Fleet.
That's the Fleet.
That's the Fleet River.
The famous underground river.
Yeah.
All those cliches about London being levels of history.
And yet at the bottom of it you have this, and at the top you've got a 22-ton figure of justice.
Is that how much she weighs?
Yeah, it's a serious weight problem. Justice has a weight problem, I like that.
In my exploration of the hidden nooks and crannies of the city, I've experienced modern markets and medieval ritual, but I've yet to penetrate the ancient roots buried beneath this trading metropolis.
Hello?
Hello,
Stephen?
I'm Caroline.
On Lower Thames Street, I've now got an appointment with museum curator Caroline MacDonald.
Why have you bitten me here?
Because I'm going to tell you what's in room 101.
Whoa.
Got the keys, are you ready to come in?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's mysterious.
So actually, this is a 1970s office block.
I should say, it's all breeze blocks and decay. It's not...
Or is it? Curiouser and curiouser.
said Alice.
Caroline has obtained special permission for me to descend to a site close to the river.
We're now right under the road, are we?
We're now, yes, we are right.
Yeah, which is sort of just the old Billingsgate. Oh!
What we're looking at is a Roman house with a bathhouse in its kind of forecourt. So yes, in this basement of a 1970s office block, here is an absolute treasure. The house here was built sometime in the 2nd century, and the bathhouse is an addition in the 3rd century.
When was all this first unearthed in modern times?
Well, it was discovered in 1848. This
Oh, right.
is actually the site of the coal exchange in London.
Oh, was it?
Yes, and they were demolishing the building in the Victorian period when the workmen unearthed this. The Victorians were very taken with it, and the first kind of scheduling of ancient monuments came in 1882, and this was one of the very first monuments to make it onto the list. So this is the flue, looks like a pizza oven.
Yes, it really does, doesn't it? Exactly what it's like.
This is the hot room, because it's the one nearest the furnace.
And so the floor was laid on these piles of tiles?
Yes, so they raised the floor up to get the underfloor
Yeah,
heating.
circulating around.
Absolutely. London only exists, the city today only exists because of that kind of DNA that the Romans put down for us 2,000 years ago. It was initially a river crossing for the army, but the army supply route meant merchants from all over the empire flocked into this new market, and that trading, that the procurator, the person who was in control of all the finances of Britannia was here. It's all about money, it's all about trade, and it's all about that movement of people.
And has been ever since.
Absolutely.
So, of course, being on the river, right behind me is the Thames and the old Billingsgate Market, and I suppose people would come off boats, and if this was a public bath, they would come in here for a treat after a long voyage.
The Romans liked to have the bath before their main meal of the day, and so if you came to this inn, if it was an inn, indeed, you had the luxury of just taking a few steps from your room straight into your private bathhouse.
Gosh, fantastic.
At the centre of Londinium stood an impressive amphitheatre on the site of the present Guildhall. Today, I'm sure some people would want to see a few bankers thrown to the lions. Unlike the hidden bathhouse, the amphitheatre's remains are open to the public, and its outline is marked in grey on the Guildhall's courtyard. The city's boundaries follow the shape of the Roman wall built to protect Londinium and its 30,000 inhabitants. Today, 400,000 people work in the city, but only 8,000 actually live here.
I want to know what it's like to have spent your life in the City of London. Not a financier, not a fancy mayor or member of a livery company. And I've been told about this lady called Doris, so I want to meet her. She's in her 80s, and she's kindly invited me for a cup of good old Rosie Lee.
Doris McGovern was born in the city and has lived here all her life.
Doris? Hello! I'm delightful to meet you.
Really nice, yes.
Oh, and on a gorgeous day as well.
We could do with a few more
cheerful.
shops, so we could do with the Marks and Spencers.
They do deliver you.
I know they do, yeah, but you've got to
Unfortunately,
£75 worth of goods. or
That's the
something.
problem, isn't it? Yes. You can always buy a life supply of lavatory paper.
I like
You
it.
can never have too much loo roll. That's my view. Oh my goodness, buns.
Help yourselves.
I've never been able to help myself from helping myself.
Go on, go
I
on.
think these are called fondant fancies,
They are,
aren't they?
they are.
I'm a bit of a sucker for a fondant fancy. Now, Doris, one thing I've noticed on your wall is something that I happen to possess as well, which is the freedom of the City of London. When did you get that?
6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I used to do a lot of volunteering at one time.
Oh, really?
When I was younger, helping
wonderful.
people. So that, but being in the city more, I think.
And what does it mean being a freeman of the city? Do you...
Not an awful lot, as far as I'm concerned. Only driving sheep across London Bridge.
Oh, well, as I'm a freeman as well, shall we drive sheep along London Bridge? Shall we do that? I mean, someone told me that that was actually a myth, but then I discovered it isn't really a myth because you're allowed to trade
Well, I didn't know
across
that.
London Bridge.
I didn't know that.
So if we're selling sheep,
Oh,
we could
oh.
take them over London Bridge. Someone would buy them. I think that would be the best fun.
From the Middle Ages to Victorian times, it was a right that really meant something. The city has always been about trade, and one of the most important markets is insurance. Lloyd's of London insure almost anything, no doubt including sheep. It's an extraordinary place, started when people got together in Edward Lloyd's coffee shop over 300 years ago to share the risks of ships' journeys. And the brokers still have little stools, as if in a coffee house, for passing customers to pull up and chat about business.
We underwrite satellites. The biggest one that we've had a loss on was 406 million. We had a loss of 406 million earlier this year.
Well, it just crashed to Earth?
The rocket failed and it returned back to Earth. And yes, that's it. Insurers have to pay out. That's what we're here for at the end of the
Well,
day.
of course. I mean, the higher the risk, the higher the reward, presumably.
Absolutely. And for a typical $400 million satellite, premiums would be something of the order of $40 million or so.
$40 million, that's 10%, yes, right.
Yeah, roughly.
The indemnity, yes, gosh. It's eye-watering sums of money.
We're not just writing space here, we write marine, we write energy, we write aircraft, we write aviation war, we write lots of different risks. And the idea is that across all of those lines of business, you wouldn't expect all of them to fail in any one year or have bad years.
Right.
So one offsets the other.
Jonathan.
My particular speciality is insuring people. We do the body parts insurance, certain athletes, excluded parts from other insurers, so you might, whether it was David Beckham's toes or feet or something like that. But the other things are actresses' breasts, foot models.
So you'll take the left one and the partner will take the right.
Absolutely.
It's quite serious in as much as if a big pop star enjoys the voice. You have to consider
the multiples of present earnings that can be dependent upon a voice can get into some enormous numbers when you're talking about highly paid entertainers.
What do you specialise in underwriting or looking into?
I'm a cyber underwriter. The latest statistics were that the cyber crime market generates more revenue for the criminals than the drug trafficking market worldwide, which is pretty scary stuff. And we wouldn't insure anyone who wasn't investing enough into their IT security, saying that if a hacker really wants to get in and they're good, the likelihood is they will. So that's the risk that we take on. It's not just personal data that's a target, it's corporate confidential data, it's mergers and acquisitions information, it is medical research data. So they're all under attack.
I had to find a space to check my own cyber security.
Hello? Hi. I'm Stephen. What's your name? Yeah, what's your name? Let's see you up top. Can I
film you? Fabulous. Hi, guys.
The 42 stories of Tower 42 house the UK headquarters of over 60 companies, a good 20 of which are major players in the finance industry. Jimmy Lawrence has been cleaning windows here for 3 years.
How do you discover that you are the kind of person who can do this without screaming in agony and fear?
I don't know, really,
You
to be
just
honest
try
with
it
you.
out?
Yeah, just give it a go. Don't look down.
Presumably you have to do this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's constant all year round.
Like painting the Forth Bridge?
That's it, yeah. Warm water, just a bucket and a squeegee, the old-fashioned way.
God,
tie it to your wrist so nothing falls off.
You must look in on windows and see people who not only get paid in the millions a year, they get paid millions in bonuses. Does that make you think, what the hell?
Yeah, it does a bit, yeah, considering they're nice and warm and...
Exactly.
We're the ones doing all the hard graft, yeah.
Up here, I'm feeling a bit queasy. A feeling perhaps that many people share about the financial steadiness of the city.
Every day my heart...
Hey, look down once, you'll be all right.
Do you think?
Yeah, look.
You're
safe, you're not going nowhere.
I know I'm safe now, but sometimes when there's a gust of wind... Oh.
If the city is the honeypot of the UK, right at its heart, as it happens on the roof of the Lord Mayor's residence, some workers are very busy.
I dare appeal to get into me. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm on the roof of Mansion House, and what I can see there is the Bank of England and the top of the Gherkin. I'm right in the most urban environment.
We've probably got a population of about 30,000 in here.
30,000?
About half of which will be out working, half will be in here. Bring it up slowly, straight vertically, up to eye level.
Up to eye level? Holy moly! I must not drop you. I won't. You're blowing bees at me.
I'm blowing bees at you.
Excuse me, bees. Don't use your finger!
You can just brush them out of the way.
You really are brave.
And you can then just...
Oh, there is honey. I can see the honey glistening. It's beautiful. Gee whiz.
There's the waggle dance.
Goodness me.
And this lady here is vibrating.
Yes.
And this is the waggle dance.
The famous waggle dance. And what is it communicating? It's communicating a good source of honey?
Yes. The angle in which they are waggling
yes.
is the angle in which the other bees need to navigate
yes.
in relation to the sun.
Where on earth do the bees go? How can they survive in such an alien environment?
Well, first of all, bees will travel a long distance to get what they need. They'll go 3 miles.
Oh, right.
Maybe 5 at a pinch, but 3.
So if you're a banker and you're watching and you're not in a tower block and you've got a windowsill, then jolly well put up some flowers, because we've got some very hungry bees here.
Hungry bees aren't the only ones relying on bankers to help them survive. I need to get something off my chest, so I find a city grandee. Former Lord Mayor, former chairman of Lloyd's Insurance, Lord Levine now runs an investment bank.
It's an extraordinary institution. The further I try and penetrate its mystery, the darker and deeper it sometimes seems. But let's face it, we live in a time when probably the word banker, the word hedge funder, the word derivative, the word short seller, all these phrases that most people don't understand, and I count myself as one of those. But what we do think is that these words are contaminated, and that in fact the city itself is contaminated to make rich people richer.
That's one interpretation.
I know, but it's a very common one, and you must be aware of that.
There are millions and millions of customers of banks who use them in a perfectly normal way. Yeah. There are hundreds of thousands of people who work in banks who don't get paid any more than the average of the rest of the country. Yeah. And it's very easy to pick out those who got it wrong, those who did things that were really bad.
There is very little remorse amongst the top echelon bankers. When you hear them talking on the radio, they don't seem to be in the least bit...
Well, it depends who you talk to.
Yes.
It depends who you talk to. I mean, it's very easy to characterise
Sure.
people. Did a number of people do a lot of very stupid and greedy things? Yes.
Are there now mechanisms in place that will stop that from happening again?
Stephen, you will never have a perfect system. Right. Anybody who answers yes to that question will know that somehow it'll get disproved. But it's very different now. But who's got it right? You know, which country's got it right? Which system is right? The answer is that everybody's trying, and they're trying different methods, and it's very tough at the moment.
The city is a controversial place that everyone, including me, wags their finger at. But the thing that drew me to the city in the first place is the apparent contrast between the cutting edges of modern existence and the roots in ancient ritual. My final engagement is to accept an invitation from one of the most striking examples of that contrast, a city livery company. So, time for a quick change in the gents at the Mansion House.
The Society of Apothecaries have invited me to dinner, and when they have dinner, they don't wear black tie, oh no siree. They have white tie, and that means a waistcoat, which I've got to get the right way on, which is like, hang on. Come on, Stephen, you're not that stupid. That's the front, that's the back. So, okay, oh I see. I'll sort of step into it. That over me there. Put my arm in like... Hang on, that can't be right. Yes, there we go. Ta-da! And then I do it up. And I think I may be faced with the humiliation of having to loosen the elastic at the back because of my enormous gut. I'm putting on my top hat, tying up my white tie, dancing in my tails. There we are. I mean, look at that. That is all wrong.
Look at you. I didn't know you had one of those bibs as well. I have to shake your hand.
Let me see, like my doily.
That's fantastic.
Even in white tie, I'm feeling a little underdressed. I'm joining the mayoral party in all their finery for a trip to the Apothecaries' Hall, wherever that is.
Gosh, hello. Hello. Hi, hello. Oh, that's... Auriferque per orbem dicor. Oh, good Lord. I have to look it up.
The Society of Apothecaries is one of the city's livery companies, who got their name because of their distinctive uniform, or livery. They began in medieval times as early closed shops for different trades, in this case, pharmacists. They still have powers in the election of the city's alderman. Apparently, I'm going to have to take part in some ritual involving rose water.
It's used to stimulate this nerve, or the alderman's nerve, because aldermen dine so well that they needed some stimulus to help their intestines to empty.
Right.
Master, wardens, my Lord Mayor, sheriffs, ladies and gentlemen, dinner is now served in the Great Hall.
Anyway, Dr. Dale, how do you do?
I've no idea what the right thing to do is here.
One of the things that astonishes me about this whole thing is that people looking will see the Latin, they'll see portraits of ancient figures and so on, and then I discover that people like you are doing absolutely up-to-the-minute work in medicine around the world.
I know. I mean, the thing about the society is that it gives the impression that it's full of
old fogies, let's be honest,
and white men of a certain age.
But you're a rather glamorous doctor. But
no, but I'm not the only one. But I think.
But your field is something called catastrophe?
Yeah, we deal with conflict and catastrophe medicine, and behind all the cloaks and the ceremony, we're actually training doctors and nurses to work and adapt all their medical knowledge and skills, working in conflict zones, in disaster zones.
The Master would like you to join with him with a loving cup and bid you all a hearty welcome.
Yeah. And you protect my back. You stand up. We bow. You take the lid in your right hand. I'll take a swig. Just take the silver plate off the cup, you know, this time.
Yes,
you pop the lid back on.
And then I do the same to
we bow.
bow.
I give it to you. You turn around and I'll protect your back.
But that had too much.
That's all right. Just not down in one.
Thank you. Fantastic. And now we can sit back again. Oh, I think that's
You might be attacked.
Of course I have to protect it.
Face outwards. That's it.
Shame on me. Shame on me. Hurrah. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. Yes, I did my best. I knew you could look after yourself. You're getting war zones.
Please be upstanding for two toasts. The Queen.
The Queen.
The Lord Mayor, the City of London Corporation, and the sheriffs.
Phew, I like a drink, but I can see how the word liver got into livery.
The Worshipful Society, the art and mystery of the Apothecaries of the City of London. May it flourish, bringing help to all, till time ceases.
Of course you can mock. Of course you can say it's just a load of old fogies enjoying themselves with wine and stupid rituals. But all these people are professionals in the health world, and some of them are initiating new ways of taking medicine and healthcare into the world, which are the absolute cutting edge. But they're doing it in an old frock. And to me that sums up not just the City of London, but Britain itself. Behind strange layers of silk and tassels there can be some very modern, cutting-edge brains, and I think it's absolutely wonderful, because I'm an old sentimentalist at heart, and I'm also someone who embraces the modern world, so for me, this is kind of home. So do you enjoy exercising your freedom, Doris?
Absolutely. This is...
We should do this every week. Good exercise for us, good exercise for
That's
Grace.
right, yeah.
Good fun to be free.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
She's bounding along. She seems to like London Bridge.